Hello you guys, thank you for joining me for another video. Now that it's officially October, that means it's finally time to start making all of the fun Halloween DIYs. I don't usually have a lot of spare time, so I chose DIYs that were really quick and easy to make, so if you're like me and don't have a lot of time on your hands, these will be perfect for you as well. The first DIY that we'll be making today is a really cute light up ghost wreath. We're going to start by taking the wreath ring and gluing styrofoam balls all around it, leaving a little bit of space between each one. I got both the ring and the styrofoam balls at the dollar store. This is a really good place to check for craft supplies. Next, we're going to cut up little pieces of cheesecloth. You can usually get this at most grocery stores. These pieces don't have to be perfect, and they also don't all need to be the same size. I decided to add some lights to my ghost wreath, but this step is definitely optional, so if you're not super worried about it lighting up, you can skip this step. I attached a small portion of the fairy lights to each of the styrofoam balls using hot glue once again. Just be really careful with this step not to burn your fingers. Once all the lights are attached, we're going to hot glue the controller to the back of the ring. Now it's time to start attaching the cheesecloth to each of the styrofoam balls. So I take about 5 or 6 pieces of cloth and drape them over each of the styrofoam balls using some hot glue. We're basically just adding enough to cover all of the wires from the lights. The final step is to add on the eyes, so I cut out little pieces of construction paper and glued them onto each of the ghosts. I decided to make a couple more ghost wreaths in various different sizes, so this time I used an embroidery ring I found at the dollar store. You can basically use whatever you have for the ring as long as you can glue the styrofoam balls to it. A good tip if you're someone who buys fresh Christmas wreaths every year is to save your wreath at the end of the season and remove all the greenery from it. That way you can keep the metal ring for crafts like this one. This is how the wreaths looked once they were all done. This was by far one of my favorite crafts to do this year. The next DIY that we'll be doing are these spooky soap dispensers. We're going to start by buying some soap bottles and removing the soap that's in them. Again, I just found these ones at the dollar store. I got them because they were nice and clear and didn't have anything on the sides. Next, we're going to get a bunch of creepy crawlies. I decided to use spiders, centipedes, and cockroaches, or whatever these things are. You can find these creepy crawlies in most Halloween sections. You're going to want to add some new colored soap to your soap dispenser. I decided to use orange, but you could also use different Halloween colors like green or purple or red or whatever you'd like, and then we're going to start adding all the creepy bugs into the soap. I just added them in and used a wooden skewer to push them further down into the bottle. Once we're happy with the amount of bugs we added, we can add the top back on and we're all done. This craft was so fun to make and it adds the coolest spooky touch to your kitchen or bathroom soap dispensers. Our next DIY will be these light up ghosts, and we're also going to be giving them little arms, which is really cute. We're going to start by taking some circular plant cages and tying the tops together using some twine. Again, I got these at the dollar store. Next, we're going to attach a large styrofoam ball onto each of the cages. You can just push these into the tops of the cage. For the arms, we're going to be using some pool noodles. I got these from the dollar store as well. I'm using some scissors to cut the tops a little bit to make them a bit more round. All we're going to do is take the pool noodles and stick them through the cages and position them so it looks like there is an arm on each side. Next, we're going to take some white sheets and drape them over the cages. You can play around with the sheets a little bit just to drape them nicely over the arms. I got these sheets at the thrift store. For the eyes, I'm just cutting out some ovals using black construction paper, and I'm going to hot glue them onto the ghosts. The next step is optional, but if you want the ghosts to light up, we're going to add some flashlights. I basically just took the flashlights and put them in some cups and placed them under the ghosts. This is a really easy way to light up your ghosts, but another way you can do it is to use fairy lights once again. Since the cups I used were colored, my ghosts ended up having an orange glow, but if you'd like to avoid this, make sure you use clear cups. I'm hoping to incorporate lots of ghosts into my Halloween decor this year, so I decided to make a few more. I'm following all the same steps for these ones, except I won't be adding the pool noodle arms. Another fun detail you can add to your ghosts are these lace sheets. Again, I got these at the thrift store and I used them as a second layer, draping them over the first plain sheet. This is how the ghosts turned out when they were all done. I'm so excited to place these all around the house. The next DIY is another favorite of mine. We're going to be making a really cool spooky fall wreath. Starting with a large wreath ring and a pool noodle, we're going to use some twine to tie the pool noodle around the entire wreath ring. Next, you're going to want to pick up some fake flowers and some creepy crawlies. I got the creepy crawlies from the dollar store again, and the fake flowers were all from Michael's. All you need to do is press the fake flowers right into the pool noodle until you're happy with how full your wreath is. Once we've added all the flowers, we're going to take our creepy crawly critters and start hot gluing them onto the flowers. This step is optional if you'd like it to be more of a spooky wreath, or if you were just wanting a fall wreath, you can stop once you've added the flowers. I think everything looks better lit up, so again I decided to add some fairy lights all around the wreath, but this step is optional. Once again, I'm going to hot glue the light controller onto the back of the wreath, and that's our spooky fall wreath all done. I absolutely love how this turned out, and I can't wait to hang it on my front door. Wreaths can be so expensive, and this is a perfect way to save some money while having some fun. Our final DIY will be some spooky ghost candles. We're going to start by adding some very hot water to a bowl. Just be careful with this project not to burn your hands. Next, we're going to take some candlesticks and add them into the hot water. You're going to want to let this sit for a few minutes. Once they've been sitting in the water for a few minutes and they're pliable, you can start bending them into spooky ghost shapes. After breaking a good amount of candles, sadly, I figured out that the key to making these work is to bend them very, very slowly and to make sure you leave them in the water long enough. If there's any excess melted wax on the side of the candles, you can just wipe it off using the water. Once you're happy with how your candles are shaped, you can start adding the little ghost faces on using a Sharpie. All you have to do now is add them to some candle holders and light them up. These are honestly the cutest thing. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I have lots more Halloween videos coming up, including some more DIYs, decorating, and recipes. So if you're interested in seeing those, definitely stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.